everybody. Welcome back, should we say. 2023 is here, but of course, before we carry on with the show, big thanks to our partners on board with us. Score Energy Drinks. Of course, on board with Western Province Rugby and the Western Province Club Rugby Sevens. We'll tell you more about that a little bit later, where you can win yourself a case of Score Energy Drinks. And of course, MChem 24-hour pharmacy on the corner of N1 and Durban Road. And yes, welcome. It is 2023. Who can believe another year has gone by and we're about to start another year. And this gives us now, as much as I dread to say it, but also thrilled to say it, 13 years of Cape Rugby. We now go into our 13th year. Episode 1, getting the ball rolling, so to speak. So, welcome. And we, of course, say to everybody that we are looking forward to an excellent year as we talk about what's happening in the world of Western Province Club Rugby. So, some of our clubs are almost back in action. Most of them, in fact, started their pre-season training early already last year, and they've had a bit of a rest. Joining me in studio tonight, A-Hamadias, of course, from Hamilton's, at least not Hamilton's, from A-Hamadias. A-Hamadias, welcome.
Thank you, JP. It's good to be here.
And Leon Carstens, Unimo, nice to have you in studio.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Nice to be here.
Thabo and Congo, no stranger to Cape Rugby TV, household name. How are you, my man?
Good, good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's fantastic to have you guys in studio, and we're going to be joined in a couple of minutes or a little bit later in the show by Aubrey Kutsia, captain of Hamilton. So everybody's back on track. I'll tell you, have you guys had a bit of a rest? Have you had a nice break?
Yeah, we had a break, JP, but started a few weeks after finishing our respective competitions for about 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And then we stopped just before middle of December and looking forward to pick it up again in the 10th of January.
Yeah, it's almost there now. Aubrey, you guys as well. I mean, did you start with pre-season already?
No, we'll also start on Tuesday. Yeah, had a nice break over the Christmas.
Did you have
holiday.
any pre-season last year?
Yeah, we had a bit of off-season training as well.
Yeah.
I think we started at the end of October. Normally we start around there, and we finished at the middle of December.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking
And
forward.
Thabo, on your side, there's no way you guys would be getting away from the grip of the Jonathan van der Walt legacy, and I'm sure you guys started some pre-season training.
Yeah, there was a bit of a mixed feel on our side. We're very fortunate to get quite an extended break for most of the senior side. But some of the second team, third team, and the rest of the club have started pre-season and they got going. The seniors were trusted to do the work by themselves, but we'll find out next week how that went.
Is that the thing? You're not 100% sure if everybody did you do it?
I did.
Yeah, but you're going to say that on TV, right?
Yeah, well, I was kind of forced to. I had to go for a shoulder operation after the final, so after that I got straight into rehabilitation, and just been working my way back up to speed.
How's the shoulder now?
It's feeling great. I'm hoping to start some sort of contact in the next 2 months, a month before scheduled, but it's up to the specialist to allow me.
Well, we're actually going to talk to you a little bit about that because there's some very interesting stories. In fact, when we spoke to Dylan Freilink about that last year, now I can say it. In fact, Althea was with us on the day where we were talking about Thabo's incredible injury and the challenge against Durban. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. A-Hamadias, for you guys, it was a fantastic season in 2022.
Yes, JP, we had a very successful season last year, but also very challenging, where we were champions in our respective league. But going into the top 9, we find it very difficult because the teams are more tougher, so it was week in, week out tough games. But it was a good challenge, and I think the guys stepped up to the challenge.
Yeah, who were the toughest opponents?
I think there was about 2 teams, 3. Violets, Massey was very tough away from home, and then and also Van der Stel, very big guys. But I think we really step up, and
Leon, let's talk about Unimo for a second there. Super League A. I mean, we saw Unimo make quite a shift in the last few years, moving back from Super League B, eventually coming into Super League A and just getting stronger and stronger. But last year, I know people were bouncing back from having like 2 years off, but last year the competition looked pretty tough amongst the top 10.
Yeah, no, the competition is definitely tough. Everyone knows Super A Western Cape Rugby is probably the toughest in the country. So yeah, it was a good competition. We had quite a good year. I mean, it's the first time we've beaten Marty's, first time we've beaten False Bay, so we really had a good year. Don't mind the excuses if it's recovery from COVID or whatever the case may be. But yeah, this year we're looking forward to stepping it up again. The club is turning 50 years actually this year. So yeah, hopefully we can have another successful year. And I mean, pushing to hold the trophy at the end of the season would be the ultimate cherry on the cake on the 50th year.
50 years this year?
Yeah.
So a lot of celebrations probably planned for that. Let me guess, you guys are going to change your jersey? Or do you know?
I'm not sure if the jersey will be changed though, but yeah, there'll definitely be some events and everything. Of course, going to make it special. So yeah, no, definitely looking forward to the new year.
Yeah. A-Hamadias, from A-Hamadias' perspective, also quite a shift. Big move for you guys this year, getting promoted into Super League C.
Yeah, JP, looking very forward to be able to competing in Super League C. So obviously with that, moving into Super League C, you want to put a lot of hard work in, and hopefully with our pre-season coming up, that's going to happen. But also there's a lot of senior guys into the system and also youngsters, so it's a good combination between old and young, and that is very good. And the senior guys is really stepping up and assisting the coaches, which is making the coaches' jobs very easy.
So what do you guys start talking about then from like a strategic point of view? Is it all, I mean, you've got to obviously think about the fact that you're moving into another league. It's going to get faster, it's going to get heavier, it's going to get stronger.
100% JP. It's like last year when we started our campaign in 2022, when we set ourselves goals out on our training camp, and we set ourselves 3 goals, and moving into the season, we were very fortunate to be able to achieve all the 3 goals, which was to be able to win our league, the Southern League, and then qualify for the top 9, and then obviously the ultimate goal was to win the top 9, and that we achieved. So we were very fortunate to be able to achieve all 3 of that goals. So hopefully going into the new season, competing in Super League C, looking forward for our camp coming up, and then on the camp we will set ourselves new goals, and that is where we work towards.
New goals. All right, so this is going to be interesting as we speak to everybody, is finding out what these new goals are. Everybody comes out of new year and there's new resolutions and new goals. Going to be fascinating, folks. But joined in studio with us, Althea Matthys, of course, from A-Hamadias. Leon Carstens is with us from Unimo. We're going to find out more about Unimo's preparations, or at least looking back at last year as well as the preparations. And Thabo Ntongo is also with us from False Bay. And a little bit later in the show, we're going to be joined by Hamilton's captain, Aubrey Kutsia. So we'll talk about that and more after the break. Of course, for those of you that are not aware, we now go into 13 years of Cape Rugby TV, and we carry on talking about what's happening in the world of Western Province Club Rugby. A little bit later in the show, I'm going to give you an opportunity for you to win a case of Score energy drinks, and all you need to do is go to our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/Cape Rugby TV, and we have a Spot the Ball competition running. And every week we give someone the opportunity to win a case of Score energy drinks. You just see if you can spot the ball. But we have to give you a bit of a heads up. It is pretty difficult. Thabo, have you ever done the Spot the Ball competition?
I've tried to do it on TV, but I never seem to get it right.
I don't think anyone really gets it right. It's very sneaky. All right, folks, we'll take a break. When we come back, don't go away. We're going to carry on taking a look at what's happening in Western Province Club Rugby. So all systems go. Welcome back, everybody. It's Cape Rugby TV. We are back. It's, of course, 2023. We are back talking about club rugby. Of course, most of the teams will clubs at least will resume their pre-season next week. Is that your thoughts, Thabo? Is that what we're expecting? Is that pre-season will start for almost everyone next week?
Yeah, from what I've heard around the table, it seems like everyone is planning on starting around the same time. Like I said, part of our club has been working. But yeah, next week will be the beginning for everyone.
Does your club, does the Bay ever close? I mean, you've got all sorts of facilities there as well. You're part of a complex also that...
Yeah, I mean, we'd like to think that we do close, but there's always some sort of activity happening at the club. If it's not the women's side getting on with something, it's guys meeting for touch during the holidays. So there's always some sort of activity happening. Obviously, we've got a club restaurant there as well, so it just makes it easier for guys to grab a beer afterwards after running around on the field.
So the restaurants stay open 7 days a week, or?
Yeah, I think the only day the restaurant's not open is on a Monday.
Right.
But yeah, most of the time it's open, and every time I've been there, it's been open, except on a Monday.
And Dion, Leon, on your side, Dion, natuurlijk iemand anders. On your side, from a Unimo perspective, I mean, you guys also share that whole complex. You've got baseball on the one side, there's a dog training school on the further side, gymnastics are in, I think, just behind you guys as well. How does that affect you guys from a club point of view, being open and closed?
Well, from our side, it doesn't really affect us that much. The other teams and everyone around us, they all continue as usual. From us, we take a break as we get it. Of course, we start on the 10th with the preparations. So yeah, I don't think the other sports and everything around in the area affects us too much. We have our fields all to ourselves, so yeah. That's quite nice.
And Faitjies?
Unfortunately, JP, we don't have those type of facilities, but they are upgrading our facilities. They just installed new lights and busy revamping our cloakrooms.
Wow.
So very exciting if that is starting to happen at the club. It can only take the club to great expectations.
I mean, that's great for the local fans in terms of now you can maybe be doing night games.
That's the plan, I think, and that will be very exciting. I think in our league, when we play night games, our people is coming out to come and support us, and that with the lights is also much better for training and so on. And it can only be the club can only benefit from it.
Yeah, that's fantastic stuff. I mean, that's great news for any club to be able to have more facilities, upgrading, especially for the local community who want to join. The more you're able to be open, the more you're able to get members to join.
No, 100% JP. Nowadays, players wants to come where there's nice facilities at clubs, and I think A-Hamadias is trying to upgrade the facilities so that we can attract more players to the club, and so far so good.
Well, okay, so folks, of course, two of the teams that were really going head-to-head, and you pretty much think of this as a derby, was in 2022, the matches between A-Hamadias and Violets, and we thought we would show this, and Althea can guide us through some of these highlights. This feature was brought to you by MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy and Score Energy Drinks. This feature was brought to you by MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy and Score Energy Drinks. Right, folks, well, that was pretty much a highlight, one of the highlight games of the year. A-Hamadias against Violets. You can see I was kind of heading in the Hamilton's direction. It's because Aubrey Kutsia from Hamilton's is going to join us a little bit later. But a big game, that was very much a derby match for you guys, I'll tell you.
Ja, JP, dat was een derby voor ons en het was verschrikkelijk tough geweest. The typical Malay derby. So ja, familie en vrienden, ook collega's wat in elkaar speel. En dan is de hits was baie groot geweest die dag, maar je moet ook baie de kalm kop gehad het, because dan is alle emoties was hoog geweest op die dag.
So, for you guys now, from a Hamadias point of view, have you looked forward yet to 2023 in terms of teams that you're expecting to be tough, or is it too early to tell and you're still going to sort of consider Super League C's different squads?
Look, we haven't been looking at the teams in Super League C. It's the familiar faces in Super League C, like the Macassars, the Blue Jets, not easy going to Kailicha. So those are the teams that are there long in Super League C, but we are focusing on ourselves and what we want to achieve in the new league. But we can only look at Super League C once we enter the league.
Well, you know, you've got the captain of the current Western Province Club Rugby title holders, False Bay, Thabo and Tongo, in studio with us. If you want to ask him any input here, Thabo, would you say that at this time, I mean, you guys have walked this road, you've walked, I mean, Leon, you guys as well, but do you start looking at other teams, or you just make sure you get the basics right now at this stage of the year?
I think the important thing is always to make sure that your structures are correct. If you've got a strong foundation and solid structures, then a lot of the other things will take care of themselves. So if you ask me, I'd say focus would always be on the structures and the processes you have in place, and then things will fall in place as the season progresses.
And Leon, from your side, having seen that game there, Violets, Hamadias, there's some serious running rugby there.
Yeah, it looks like a very high-paced game as well. So I believe they'll be able to make the step up. I know when we went up in 2016, you always target some of the games. You know, you have your main group of players that took you there, and you rely a lot on them. So I believe they've been building for quite a while. So they'll definitely be able to make a step up.
What about the Gees, Alteo? Thabo will tell you that at False Bay they've got too much Gees. This goes back to the days of Graham Knoop and some of his colleagues where they brag. How important is the Gees at Hamadias?
I think we have a good energy there at the club, and I think that's very important. We normally sing-alongs on a Saturday during the week, and I think just that whole momentum from a Thursday, we normally go out as a group on a Thursday to have something to eat at Gulson's. That's our annual Thursday after practice, to have some chicken over there, and the guys are looking very forward, and that is where the singing and stuff is taking place, the build up into Saturday. And I think that as a group that we stick together, and that really carried us through the year, and I think that is very important, JP, to have that gees in your club setup, so that you can rely on your fellow teammate or brothers that we call them.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and yes, we think that that's one of the strong points of club rugby is the gees, the brotherhood and the family structures that makes club rugby work. Folks, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll carry on talking club rugby. Of course, we're now into 2023, and it's all starting. Welcome back, everybody. Right, it's of course Cape Rugby TV. For those of you that have just joined us, you can catch us every Wednesday evening from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, Saturday mornings from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. and of course it's every Wednesday and Saturday here on Cape Town TV, DSTV channel 263 nationwide, and of course all around the world, also via online, and you can talk to us on Facebook. So we're pretty much everywhere, and we keep talking about what's happening in the world of Western Province Club Rugby. One of my highlights during the last few years was meeting with the players during COVID, where there was a food handover, and one of my highlights of the day was in fact a conversation where I was standing on the side of the field there on the field in fact with you, Thabo, speaking about the makeup of False Bay Rugby Club. It's the same with A-Hamadias and Unimo, and that's one of the strong points of the club structures and you guys kind of epitomize that as well as many of the clubs, is looking after your members and looking after the community.
Yeah, I actually remember that conversation at Newlands on the field there. There were some dark days. Those are some very dark days. Yeah, I think it's very important that as a club, False Bay, we know that we're a community club, and we pride ourselves on trying to give back to the various charities or any struggling member within the club. Obviously, guys need to speak up, but some of the charities that we've been involved with for the past couple of years already is Miracle Kids, which is a safe house. So we tend to do quite a bit with them quite regularly. But
that's what makes club rugby is more than just the game. Is about reaching out to the people around you, reaching out to the neighborhoods, the communities, creating a place for people to come and visit and participate.
100%. That's spot on. Again, if we refer back to those COVID years, it was very tough to keep the guys motivated. But our former coach, Jonathan van der Walt, just found a way to keep the brain ticking with various tasks that we had to do, run sets that we were doing. Some of us were very fortunate that we lived together, so training wasn't that much of an issue. The running was sometimes a bit ridiculous, but we got through it.
And Leon, the same thing with Unimo. Over the years, we've seen Unimo do so much for their members, for the community. I think back to shoe drives that Ishmael Dolly was doing together with Nolene, and of course all the other shoe drives. We saw food drives where players could bring a can of food and then it would get donated. Everybody brought one can or brought some food. There were grocery handovers, and of course during the drought there was water collection points. I mean, the stuff that you guys have done at Unimo, also making sure that the club serves the community, has been incredible.
Yeah, no, we're definitely always trying to give back to the community. I mean, every year we take on something new. That's all thanks to the coaches we have. I mean, Ishmael, Gareth, Ben, AD, Sarel and Aline, all the rest of the management. Everyone is always thinking of something new outside of the box, just to be there to help the others. Even within the club, if there's guys that's struggling, they know where to go and ask for help or assistance. So yeah, we need to take care of our brothers and the community. So now it's inspiring to see that there's still people like that who reaches out and that's willing to give. You don't always have that. So you know, it's a very nice team to be a part of, especially for the way they reach out to everyone.
Does that make it make it for the members of the club more than just rugby? At the end of the day, you actually want to get down to the club, not just to play rugby or to train rugby, but you want to see each other, you want to socialize, you want to feel like part of a structure.
Yeah, no, Unimo is definitely like one big family. I know there's not a lot of guys that comes to Unimo and then goes to another club. They usually end their rugby season at Unimo if they do come over. So no, we have a really good family bond basically. Everyone feels like home, you know, all the supporters, everyone that's coming down, always open to new members. So no, it's really nice. I mean, that's how I ended up at Unimo at the beginning.
Well, we did take one of your big games last year for Unimo was up against Marties. Marties, of course, been one of the strong teams in Western Province Club Rugby for a number of years now. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from that game last year, and Leon can give us some of his memories. This feature was brought to you by MCAM 24-Hour Pharmacy and Score Energy Drinks. This feature was brought to you by MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy and Score Energy Drinks. Right, folks, so, well, there we go. Unimo against Marties. Do you want to give us your thoughts on that game there?
That's a game I'd like to forget, though. Yeah, we were fortunate enough to beat Marties during the league, and that quarterfinal game, everything went so well during the week. Everyone was hyped up. We were confident that we can beat them again. I mean, we've beaten all the teams that we haven't beaten before. There's no team in Unimo, Super A that Unimo hasn't beaten up till that point. So I'm not sure what happened that day. Nothing went our way. So unfortunately, our fairy tale year came to an ending. So hopefully we can rectify that in 2023.
Right, folks, well, of course, as you know, every week we go down to MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy. 2023 is year. And as you know, MChem has stayed open right through the festive season and is going to continue staying open because MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy is a 24-hour pharmacy and they're always there for you. We're very excited about the fact that MChem is, of course, on board with Cape Rugby TV and continues to be there for you. And for those of you that don't know, if you're watching the show now for the first time, 2023 is here, and of course MChem has got available for you free parking outside. There's a coffee shop upstairs, and of course inside the pharmacy there are multiple zones such as the orthopedic and surgical zone, there's the travel clinic, there's the dispensary that is always open, qualified nursing sisters on duty, there's of course the health zone, so a number of very special zones and pretty much everything that you need at MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy. Their prices are fantastic. They carry the best brands, really, of course, always aiming for the gold standard. This, of course, Mr. Malach and Joel and Lee that are there to look after you. And remember, if there's something that they don't have, they will find it for you. So try MChem first if you're not sure. MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy, open 24/7. Right, Alteo, we will say goodbye to you now. Thanks for joining us. We're looking forward to seeing what comes next at A-Hamadias. It's going to be an exciting year.
Yes, thank you, JP. Next on the cards for us is our annual A-Hamadias, the community things that is taking place on the 25th, 26th February at City Park. So looking very forward for that, and a big thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah, and of course all the clubs can enter as well. They can get in touch with the guys at A-Hamadias and enter the community tents. 100%,
JP. Like I said, we're very excited after not having it for a year. And I'm pretty sure that the clubs are looking forward to playing in the community tents again.
Yeah. Right, folks, we'll take a break. When we come back from the break, we're going to be joined by Aubrey Coetzee from Hamilton's, and then we'll be speaking to all three teams, of course, in Super League A at the moment, Hamilton's, Unimo, and False Bay. Of course, there are another 12 teams, but we'll talk a little bit about what's going to be happening in Super League A in 23. Back in a sec. Don't go away. Welcome back, everybody. Yes, we're now into the 13th year or 13th season of Cape Rugby TV. We've come a long way in terms of talking about what happens in the world of Western Province Club Rugby, and of course it is a unique show dedicated to the clubs, and if you are watching the show for the first time, you will know that in a couple of seconds, in fact there you see it behind me now, you see our clubs jerseys, and the unique element or part of the show is that our clubs who go out to find local sponsors are able to offer their local business and local sponsors that added exposure of the sponsorship on their jersey, and for the first time is guaranteed TV time. In fact, I think it's probably one of the only sport codes in the country that offers that opportunity at no cost to our clubs. So if you're a club out there, please take advantage of it. Go to your local business and tell the sponsors to get involved with your club, because you can guarantee them TV time on Cape Town TV, on Cape Town TV, free to air in Cape Town, DSTV channel 263, and your sponsors' jerseys are, of course, in the background. Joining us now, Aubrey Coetzee from Hamilton's. Aubrey, welcome.
Hi, JP. Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here.
First time in studio?
Yeah, it's my very first time. I must say, a bit stressful, but let's keep it going.
Stressful? But you guys are used to a high-pressure environment?
Yeah, no, for sure, definitely. And the thing is, Cape Town TV is definitely making it a bit easier for the interviews after the games and everything. So yeah, no,
Yes,
it's
yeah,
great.
you guys are becoming natural media stars now. There's no holding you back. How's 2022 for you guys?
It was lovely. Hamilton's being a young team, everyone coming together, haven't played with each other for very long, or actually, in fact, ever. So yeah, it was a very young team, but we were still finding each other. But even though the excuses, we really enjoyed the season, and yeah, according to me, we had a successful season.
So you got, for the first time now, we got all three of you guys on show together with us here, Aubrey, Leon, and Thabo. Did you guys all play against each other in Thabo? Did you guys all play against each other in the league?
Yeah, I played against Hammies. Unfortunately, I was away for a wedding against Unimo. But yeah, I remember the Hammies game pretty well.
And Leon, did you play against Aubrey?
Yes, I played against Aubrey.
So you guys had to go head to head.
Yeah. No, I also remember both of the captains next to me. Lovely games, tough games. Yeah, it was really tough games, but yeah, it's really awesome guys. And behind the field as well, training at Western Province with Leon. Also seeing him there every day. It's great. So becoming great friends as well.
Thabo, I mean, that's one of the things about that's also unique to sport, and of course in this case rugby, is that you pretty much go to war with each other on the field, but afterwards, brothers.
Yeah, it's big. It's a big thing about our club. You said it earlier. There's not enough gears at the bay. We pride ourselves in having 1 or 2 beers afterwards, and every now and then, if our rivals are sticking around, we'll have a beer with them and invite them into our bar, which is a big part of our culture at the club. Yeah.
But another thing, I mean, Leon, is that even quite often in today's times, we see players moving around. So you might be enemies the one day, but tomorrow you're on the same team.
Yeah, it's true. Aubrey might just decide to come and play for Unimo in 2023. So yeah, no, but it's nice getting to know all the guys, even if they shift from one club to another, or if you meet them together at the Western Province training, or wherever it may go. I've made lifelong friends during or while playing rugby. So it's nice meeting all these guys.
Do you guys do that, Aubrey? Do you guys socialize outside with other teams? I mean, we don't see that too often because you don't really get to see. I mean, you're generally focused at your own club, or do you guys sometimes get to know each other from other clubs?
We definitely try our best to connect with the other clubs as well, especially after games. Like Thabo said, we definitely encourage the other guys to come up to the clubhouse, have a nice beer with us, a cold one, and essentially also joining us maybe in a game of fines, you know. Maybe not taking part, but you can definitely come and watch the game. It's always fun and games, you know.
Does that happen at all at both your clubs as well, Thabo?
Yeah, we take the post-match celebrations quite seriously. Besides from a rugby perspective, I think for club rugby it's important that you build connections with other people from other clubs, because you never know what that might lead to down the line after rugby. You guys might get involved in business together, and you might know each other from the playing days. So this is the best time as youngsters or rugby players to actually build those type of relationships, so that when the time comes when you're trying to strike a deal with someone, it's someone that you've played against or someone that you know.
Yeah. Well, talking about some of the matches that were highlights, Hamilton's was up against UWC during the year. Let's take a look at some of the action. This feature was brought to you by MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy and Score Energy Drinks. This feature was brought to you by MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy and Score Energy Drinks. Aubrey, UWC, maybe the score was quite flattering there. They're not an easy team.
Yeah, no, JP, knowing that UWs is a Varsity Cup team, it's definitely a quality team. Looking at their 7 squad as well, it's really, really good. So we went into that game obviously focused, very focused, and that day everything kind of just went our way. We had a great game. I remember it like it was yesterday. I really enjoyed every moment. So yeah, no, it was great.
Well, talking about remembering things and focus, let's put you guys to the challenge now. This is the weekly Spot the Ball competition where, unfortunately, you guys are going to be counted out of this competition, but I'm going to give you an opportunity to give it a go anyway, where one of our lucky winners get a chance to see if they can spot the ball. Every week we take a picture of a club game, and we ask our viewers to see if they can spot the ball. These are your options. A1, A2, A3, B1, B2, B3, C1, C2, or C3. There you can see it on the screen now, guys. You've got these options, and let me just warn you, it's a lot more difficult than you think. So, Tabo, do you want to give it a go there? A1, A2, or any of those quadrants?
I'm going to go for the less obvious, and I'm going to go for B3.
You're going to go with B3. All right, Tabo's going with B3. Leon, do you want to give it a shot?
I think I'll call C3.
You're going to go with C3. And Aubrey?
I think they removed the ball.
You think?
I'm joking. I'm going to take C2.
You're going to go with C2.
Yeah.
All right, so I've never got this right, so I'm going to go with B1. Let's see, B1. All right, let's see, where is the ball? And there it is, C1. Congratulations to none of you. It's always very tricky to do. But yes, every week we offer one of our fans, viewers, the opportunity to win a case of Score Energy Drinks. You can, of course, do this on Facebook with us. Dwayne Smith, congratulations. We'll reach out to you on Facebook Messenger, and we'll get you your case of Score Energy Drinks ready for collection. Well, folks, we'll take a break. When we come back, carry on talking about what's happening, what Super League A will look like, as we have in studio Unimo, Hamiltons, and False Bay. Back in a sec. Don't go away. Welcome back, folks. Cape Rugby TV. Right. In studio with me, Unimol's captain, Leon Carstens, Thabo Nkongo, captain of False Bay, and of course, Aubrey Kutsia, captain of Hamiltons. Although you never really know. I suppose you guys all have to wait for final confirmation. Is it a bit of a wait for you? But I mean, we'll say it on TV. But is there normally sort of a formal announcement for you guys? Let's go with you first, Thabo.
No, I thought I'd give everyone else an opportunity. I've sat down with our new coach, Gunnar Hughes, and we've discussed the plan going forward, and he's still happy for me to hold the reins. But should anything change, I think you'll be the first to know.
I don't know about Aubrey on your side.
It's the same as with Thabo. My coach and I, we sat down together, had a bit of a conversation, and kind of just planning the way forward for the new year. So I think there will maybe be an official announcement, I reckon, but otherwise
you never know.
That's the information that I have thus far.
So, right. So, Leon, I'm not going to ask you, but I'm just going to assume that you're the captain of Unimo. So, everybody who's watching right now, you can pretty much assume that. But do you guys have a sort of a team announcement time every year? Do you have a capping ceremony, or do you generally wait until every game? I mean, is there any sort of thing that kind of says, guys, this is the squad ready for 2023?
No, well, usually before the first game, of course, we have the whole squad, and then they'll announce the team properly. We'll have a jersey handover and everything. And then, of course, it doesn't happen every game, but there's certain big games, like when a player reaches his 50 or his 100th game, or when there's some special occasion, then there will be a formal jersey handover. Otherwise, we get the team usually on a Tuesday, and then we prepare for each week as it comes.
Tabo, you guys as well, do you do these capping ceremonies with your players that reach like their 300th or 400th games?
Yeah, so one
Did
thing...
you get that? Because it does seem to be the case at False Bay, is you're not worried about 50s or 100s, you're going to the 200s.
I know, Andre van Vuren.
Yeah, Justin van Vonkel.
Yeah. Yeah, so one thing Jonathan van der Walt always used to say to us was that you have to treat every game like it's your last game, because it's a contact sport. You never know whether you might get injured or not. So for every game, we will have a jersey handover on the Thursday afternoon after practice, where sometimes some of them are short, some of them are longer, but every game we make sure that we celebrate it like it's someone's last game, because in reality it could be someone's last game.
Folks, winning the 2022 Club Rugby Championships, of course, a highlight for any club. Durban were, of course, the champions since 2019, which meant that they were, of course, unbeaten in 2020, unbeaten in 2021, because there were no games in those years. But we'll take a look at the highlights from last year, as it was False Bay up against Durban in the finals at the Craven Stadium. This feature was brought to you by MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy and Score Energy Drinks. This feature was brought to you by MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy and Score Energy Drinks. That was, of course, a big game in 2022. False Bay against Durban. Tabo, that was that was a big game for you. Your thoughts looking at the game now, from behind the scenes, after the fact?
I mean, like I said earlier, it was quite a short game for me as an individual. Went off in the first few minutes with my shoulder. But when I look at the effort that every one of those players in our team put in that final, it just makes everything worth it afterwards. I think I've watched that game probably about 4 or 5 times since we played it. And yeah, just the effort that was put into that particular performance was massive.
Did you know that it was going to be that tough before the game?
I think with Durban, you always expect a physical game. I think because it was a final, it just went to a whole nother level in terms of physicality and intensity. The biggest thing was I was very impressed with how the team managed to to weather the storm, and then slowly build an innings to get our way back into that game. And then the end was tight. It could have gone either way at the end.
Yeah. Final question. I'll go with you with this one, Thabo, as the captain of the best team in the league. I suppose you guys claim that title, but you could claim it. You did win it. That doesn't sit well with everybody else. 2023 is a new year. But is it where's the aiming point? Top 6 or win the league?
I think it's obviously top 6 and win the league, but we don't like speaking about those things as of yet. I think the biggest thing for us, because we've undertaken a lot of change, is just getting our structures correct and making sure our foundation is strong. And then when the season starts, we'll start building and aiming towards what we want to achieve. There's also still the question of whether there's going to be Gold Cup this year. We don't know, but there's a lot that's in the background. So for now, it's just making sure our foundation is strong.
Yeah. Aubrey, thanks for joining us. It's great to have you in studio. We're looking forward to have you in studio a lot this year.
Yeah, thank you so much, JP. It was really a great honor. And yeah, I would look forward to meeting you guys on the field again.
And Leon, to you guys as well at Unimo, and Nolene and the rest of the family-ish. 80, well, good luck for the year. And we obviously, where your spot is behind the desk now.
Yeah, thanks for having me here. And yeah, we're definitely also looking forward to the year, seeing you guys next to the field and these two guys on the field. So yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, and Thabo, to you as well. Obviously, Jonathan van der Wald's not there with you anymore, but I'm pretty sure we will have him in studio quite often. He is a household name. But yeah, to you and Gunnar and Kevin and everybody at the Bay, good luck for the year.
Thank you so much for having us on the show, for having me on the show. I can't speak for everyone, but I'll say us. Thank you for having us. It's been wonderful.
Yeah, it's been great. Right, folks. Well, it's going to be an exciting 2023. We can't wait to get on with the new year. And one of the things that we certainly have picked up is that most of the clubs are taking everything one day at a time and are thinking very strategically in terms of making sure that they've got solid foundations, which is very exciting for club rugby. That's what we want to see. And of course, remember, you can see the jerseys behind me now. If you've got new jerseys for 2023, please send us a picture so that we can get your jersey up, and include your sponsors. And you can go to your sponsors this year or your local business here and tell them that they must sponsor your club because they're going to be on TV. We'll see you again next week, same time, same place. Welcome to 2023. Have a fantastic rugby weekend. Bye-bye.